What happened before the house went quiet? Part 2. The story doesn't begin with Evan Mitchell's death. It begins with a change so subtle that no one could name it at the time. There was no argument, no dramatic moment, no clear turning point, just a slow shift. And in cases like this, slow is dangerous, because slow changes don't trigger alarms. They blend into routine. They become normal. Months before the 911 call, Evan's routine began to change. Not drastically, not enough to scare anyone, just enough to notice, and then dismiss. Evan stayed longer at work, not because deadlines demanded it, not because his job required overtime, but because it was quieter there. At work, no one watched how long he stood in one place. No one tracked his movements. No one asked why he needed silence. He stopped answering messages right away. Not because he was hiding anything, but because every reply felt like an obligation, a report, a justification. He started taking walks alone. No phone, no destination, no explanation. Just movement, just air, just time where no one asked questions. Laura noticed every one of these changes. She always did. Laura didn't confront Evan. She didn't accuse him. She didn't raise her voice. She asked questions. Soft ones. Reasonable ones. Why didn't you tell me you'd be late? Who were you with today? You didn't answer. Were you okay? Each question, on its own, sounded caring, thoughtful, attentive. But the questions didn't end when answers were given. They repeated, rephrased, returned later, slightly altered. Evan would answer once, then again, until the answers stopped feeling like communication and started feeling like compliance. Slowly, without realizing it, Evan stopped answering honestly, because honesty created follow-ups, and follow-ups were exhausting. Friends later described Laura as attentive, devoted. She just worried a lot, one said. She loved him deeply, said another. And that was true, but love and control often share the same language. Laura tracked Evan's schedule, checked his messages, asked about co-workers by name. She framed it as concern. I just like knowing you're safe. I worry when I don't hear from you. I don't trust people the way I trust you. None of it sounded dangerous. None of it sounded wrong. And tired people don't fight subtle things. They adapt to them. Not long after, Evan started feeling unwell. At first, it was easy to ignore. A headache that wouldn't fade. Nausea that came and went. A constant sense of exhaustion he couldn't explain. Laura noticed immediately. She adjusted his meals, changed his supplements, insisted he rest. She documented everything. What time he ate, how much he slept, what symptoms appeared. And when, to doctors, this looked like devotion, to Evan, it felt necessary, like he couldn't manage his own body anymore. Investigators would later believe this was when the poisoning began. Not all at once, not dramatically, just enough to weaken him, enough to blur symptoms, enough to confuse medical professionals, enough to make Evan doubt himself. Each dose small, each dose calculated. Laura never rushed. She didn't need to, because she wasn't trying to kill him. Not yet. Evan visited urgent care twice. Each time, Laura drove him. Each time, she spoke first. She's very stressed, doctors noted. High-functioning anxiety, another suggested. Laura nodded. She agreed, quickly. Stress explained everything. Stress meant no further testing. Stress meant no deeper questions. Medical record, however, told a quieter story. The symptoms were consistent, and they were worsening. As Evan's health declined, his world grew smaller. Friends stopped hearing from him. Laura explained it for him. He's not feeling well. He needs rest. He doesn't want visitors. Family calls went unanswered. Texts were delayed. Plans quietly disappeared. Laura framed it as protection. He needs quiet. He needs stability. What Evan needed was distance. But distance was the one thing he couldn't have. Behind closed doors, Laura's tone shifted. Still calm. Still soft. But firmer. You don't need them. They don't understand you like I do. I'm the only one here every day. Evan began to feel guilty for wanting space, guilty for wanting relief. And guilt is a powerful tool. It convinces people to stay where they are, even when staying hurts. 3 weeks before his death, something changed. A co-worker later told police Evan looked different that day. More alert, more focused, as if clarity had returned. He said one sentence. Quietly, I think something's wrong. Not with his health, with his life. That same night, Laura's search history escalated. How much is too much? Late-stage poisoning symptoms. How fast can toxins shut down organs? This wasn't curiosity anymore. This was timing. Evan stopped eating much. Laura adjusted. She blended meals, added liquids, insisted he finish everything. She told others he was improving. He's getting better, she said, but his organs were failing. Slowly, silently, and Laura knew it. There was no argument that night. No raised voices. No neighbors heard anything unusual. The house was calm. Too calm. Evan collapsed sometime before midnight. Laura did not call for help. Phone records show no emergency searches. No frantic messages. No calls made. Instead, she waited for hours because timing mattered. By the time Laura dialed 911 the next day, everything was arranged. The glass on the table. The television playing. The distance she kept from Evan's body. All of it suggested discovery. But the silence at the beginning of the call told the truth. She wasn't discovering a death. She was stepping out of a process she had controlled for months. And that silence, that hesitation before she spoke, was the only moment where the mask slipped .9. Don't forget to subscribe.